The world is pretty crazy right now. And one of the things that's the most crazy about it is the emergence of AI. Like we said, we've done some videos in the past about how these computers will take over entertainment, but now that it's actually starting to happen, we have more specific things to think about, such as whether AI art is actually art or if it should be banned. I know there's lots of legal issues involved. I'm not an attorney, but the ruling on copyright on AI work seems pretty good. Copyright is intended to protect people's labor, and typing a prompt isn't enough labor to count. At the same time, someone could just use an AI to generate thousands of images and characters and try to copyright all of them, so it seems like a good idea to not allow that. Real creative people can hopefully just keep evidence of their creative process, and people can own whatever part they actually added to the art they may generate. But on the deepfake side, I do think we will essentially have a black hole when it comes to photos and videos. From after deepfake and AI technology became widespread, which probably has started already, until after we introduced devices that can verify their recordings. For that few years, or however long, any photo, video, or recording that was made will basically be unreliable. And anything we discover in the future that is dated to this period will likely be unreliable as well. But in the long run, it does seem to be a manageable problem. However, there is a separate issue, and that's how this technology relates to normal art in movies and shows. In the future, some pretty amazing things are going to happen, and I've got a whole separate video planned for that. But what about right now? We're nearing the point where people can generate images that look like professional artwork of multiple types. Does that stuff count as art? Should it be outlawed? Well, I don't know if we realistically even could outlaw the use of generative AI, but ultimately, we may not have to. Like we said, the actual creator of the art and what we know about them, as well as the effort they put into the artwork and what it means to the world and their career, is processed by our brain and added subconsciously to how we feel about that work of art. In the case of AI, the artwork may be equally as beautiful in terms of just being a picture or recording of music, but the other sources of our emotions simply won't trigger, meaning that the art is just as technically well done, but does not stimulate us in the same way. And like we said, this applies in multiple ways, including how unknown scientific papers or writers will get ignored for the same reasons when the person judging them doesn't feel the familiarity, charisma, or social momentum that comes with reading something from a well-known person. But in the case of AI, the situation will have slightly different dynamics, since we will know how the artwork was created, even if it wasn't from a person. And so the emotional reaction to the art will depend a lot on how the person feels about AI itself. It might actually be positive in some ways, since there's a huge amount of attention being paid to AI right now, and some people may view it as being part of the future and they may marvel at what it can generate and be excited over the many possibilities. That would increase the amount they feel about the art. And for those people, since they may have enough extra emotion backing up the image, they can then feel that it's art and compare it to human art, since we compare human art by our total emotion, and the art that's famous or has enough backing emotion otherwise can be compared to each other. And we decide which is better by how much the quality of the actual image or work of art itself affects us emotionally. So those people who have that positive reaction to the technology legitimately feel that AI art is no different than human art. However, other people, and probably more people, have some negative feelings about AI and AI art, like that it could end humanity, which we could do a video on later, or that it may take away people's jobs. These people have a totally different emotional reaction upon looking at the images. But in this case, it's not just that they don't feel enough. They actually can't feel enough. Because when something is a threat to us, our emotions actually shut down towards it. Likely because having a positive reaction to someone or something that would hurt us would encourage that thing or make it more popular if other people saw us smiling or enjoying it. So our brain has a barrier in place that stops us from feeling positive things or even opening up to emotional experiences unless we feel safe. So for these people, even if some other positive emotional thing showed up in the art, like it making images of them or things they like, they still will feel nothing and say honestly from their point of view that it's not art. So in the current situation, because most people don't feel enough or can't feel anything when they view AI art, our internal feelings are already essentially providing a space for human art to sell and be successful when AI art that is indistinguishable on the surface is everywhere and easy to make. So I don't think it would need to be outlawed or banned or controlled somehow, even if we could. However, these other factors that are part of our reactions can change over time. The novelty and excitement that people feel when looking at AI creations could actually fade, it can become commonplace instead, or people will get tired of playing with the AI themselves, in which case no one would actually feel enough seeing AI art in itself, though we'd still use it with things like games where it's already associated with something we like or helping us visualize things we already want to see. And that would be the niche that AI art ends up in, useful and taking over certain artistic day jobs where someone creates images for other purposes, but not replacing human artists who work on their own. Or on the other hand, people may get used to having AI in their lives, feel safer with it, and not have those barriers that stop them from enjoying it, in which case it may still not have all the positive emotions that go with human art, but we'll see people experimenting with it and starting to use it and enjoy it in its own way, making it a permanent part of our future, which ultimately is what I think it'll be. Thanks for your time, subscribe and click the bell if you want to see more, and as always, I'll be back soon.